Hello, this is Garrett Sharp with the Striding Group, and this is a demonstration of SAP's BPC 10.0 on Microsoft Excel 2007. And today I'm going to walk you guys through how to use your Layout tab underneath the Report Editor. Alright, and before we get started, I just want to explain what this right EPM bar is. And what this pretty much displays all your default or context settings for whenever you create a report. So say if you create just a very basic report, it will reflect all of these dimensions. Okay, so to get started, we'll just go ahead and click New Report. And so this is the Layout tab in the Report Editor. So just walking through what we're looking at here. At the very top, we have the Report Name section. This is always going to be default report unless you change it otherwise. Then we have the Reset Report button over here. Down to the Dimensions tab. And this is pretty much just a list of all the dimensions that you could create your report based around. So we're just going to create a very basic one with a count on the row axis and time on the column axis. Okay, and so to just generate this basic report, we press OK, but I already did so I'm going to press cancel and show you right here what we're looking at. Okay, so if you were to press OK, this is the report you'd get. It lists our revenue on the row axis and the 2013 total on the column axis. And you can see that's reflected over here in the Context tab with revenue in the account and 2013 in the time. Okay, so if we want to go ahead and edit this report though, we'll just go ahead and click the Edit Report button. And we're back at this Layout tab, and as you can see, we have the account in the row axis and time in the column axis. Okay, and before I start explaining any more on this sheet, I want to go into the Member Selector page, and that's what this is right here for time. And so as you can see, we have the context 2013 total already selected, but say we want to change this to another year or something, we just go ahead and click that left arrow to move it over, and let's say we just want 2012 for example. So we just go ahead and click 2012 and press the arrow to move it over. But before I do that, I want to explain this drop down box here. And what this is, it pretty much just helps you refine your results a little bit. So for example, if we had it selected on member only, that would bring over just the 2012 total and nothing else. But for example, if we selected member and children, it would have the 2012 total along with each quarter. The way BPC recognizes each one of these members, at the very highest level, that's considered the parent member. And so for example, one level below would be the children. So if we had member and children selected, it would include that 2012 total in each quarter. But let's say we wanted just the children, it would not show that total but each quarter. And let's say we wanted member and descendants, this would show that 2012 total and everything that falls below it. So for example, each quarter as well as each individual month. Okay, now say this kept going on to say maybe individual days. We could go ahead and limit our results to say just 2 number levels. Alright, and then moving on. So if we wanted just descendants, we click that, and that would show everything except for the 2012 total below it. And then base level reflects exactly what it sounds like, just everything at the base level. So in this case, it'd be each individual month. Same level and sibling are pretty much the same thing, and that shows everything as the same level as the member you selected. So in this case, it would show the 2011 total, 2010, and so on. For member and descendants, this is also pretty self-explanatory. Say we selected the quarter 1 for 2012, this will show that quarter as well as its descendant. So in this case, the 2012 total as well. Okay. You could also do ascendant, so it just shows the 2012 above it, and the rest are pretty self-explanatory. So just for the sake of keeping it simple, we'll go ahead and select 2012 and member and children. Okay, And then one last thing I want to point out on the member selector page is, say we have this 2012 total selected, but we also want to say just 2006, for example. We could go ahead and bring that over, and that will reflect both of these. There's not a limited number of members that you can select, so it just lets you be able to customize your report a tad bit more. Next up on this page I want to explain is the page access. And what this does, it pretty much helps you refine your report just a little bit more. So for example, if you want to drag category over, you can see the context member is actual, and we could go ahead and leave it at that just to kind of show you how it works. And as you can see, it says total actual right here in the cell A2, and so that is your page access. One neat feature with the page access is that you could go ahead and click on that cell, and it takes you to the member selector screen, and this is where you can change it to your liking. So for example, if you wanted to switch it to budget, we'd simply just press budget, OK, and it refreshes your report to reflect the budget now. Now the page access is very similar to using the context bar, so we could get those same results if we removed this page access and simply just changed the category to budget over here and plus refresh, but this kind of just helps simplify it and makes it a tad bit easier. Alright, and then one other thing I'd like to note is this A2 right here, and this pretty much just lets you choose where you want to put the page access in your report. So right now it's on A2, but say you just want to move it over to B2. Simply just select there, and there we go, it moved right over. Alrighty. Okay. And then so the next thing we want to point out are these two shift tabs right here for the row and column access. And what this does is this refers to where your row and column headers are in relation to your report. So it's on default right now at 1 for each of them, and that just means that the header is going to be directly one cell to the left or one cell above the report. But say we switched it to 2 for each, this will put a cell in between. So you can now see there's a cell in between the header for each the row and the column. Alright. And then one thing you could do with the row access but not the column access is if you go ahead and put that to -1, it will go ahead and move the header for that to the right side of the report. So you could actually even see how it's reflected on this screen, how it moved over from left to right. So we can see how this looks right here. No longer on the left side, but the header is on the right. The last thing I want to point out right here is this bottom right section, and what this is, it lets you select where you want to put your report. So right now it's on C6, but let's say we want to move it up, move it over to B5. Just press OK, and you can see it shift. That cell B5 reflects always the uppermost left number of your report. And then so BPC did a really good job of kind of just making this really easy to understand. So if you look at this layout screen, it kind of is the layout of the report. You could see the row on the left, the column along the top, the page axis above, and this area would display where your actual data is. So you kind of see how it's reflected right here.